Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Capitol Review. I'm Thomas Grooms, and our guest this morning is Doug Fieger from the Knack. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom. How you doing?
All right, welcome to the Capitol Review. The Knack is back.
That's right.
And you've just released a brand new album and CD called Serious Fun. You want to tell us how the Knack got back together?
Well, to make a long story short, Prescott, our bass player, got married, and we hadn't actually been in the same room in about 5 years, and at his wedding, the four of us sort of got back together at the same time. A local L.A. booking agent got sick, unfortunately, and they did a benefit show for her and asked us to reform just to do that benefit show. And at the show, we got such great response, and it felt so good that Burton and I started writing songs again. And from there, we took it on the road to see if it worked, and it did. And the result is the album.
And the name of the new album is Serious Fun. It's being received very well throughout the country on radio. Do you think that success came too soon for the Knack? Like, I remember Chris Hillman and Gene Clark, when they were in the Byrds, said that it all happened too fast. Do you feel the same way?
Well, the magnitude of it, I mean, we had been working for a long time for it, but nobody was prepared for how big it got, how quickly. And I think that's a fair statement, that it got so big so fast that it was a little overwhelming.
How did the Knack originate?
We were a local band in L.A. I had been playing with the original drummer for probably about 8 years, and I'd been playing with Burton, my songwriting partner and the lead guitar player in the Knack, for about 5 years. And we just started playing the local clubs, and about 10 gigs into doing it, we were packing all the clubs, and then the local newspaper started picking up on it, and then the record company started picking up on it, and it just snowballed from there. It was like a real happening. It was a very exciting time in Los Angeles, late 1978, and the clubs were just starting to cook again, and basically it happened out of the club scene.
Did you feel a lot of pressure on you when that first Knack album came out, Get the Knack, that you had to meet up to the expectations of the Beatles, as they said?
Not at all, and we never really understood what all that was about. I think it was because we were on Capitol Records, and because our success happened so quickly and was so huge that there was that comparison. We did a tongue-in-cheek sort of comment on people saying that we were going to be the next big thing on the album cover, and basically that was just a kind of our punk way of saying, hey, let's get serious about this, But the fact is that we sold, if we had sold 50,000 records, everybody would have gotten the joke and nobody would have minded. But as it was, we sold close to 6 million of that album, and a lot of people thought we were serious.
Well, you're very serious this time around. You're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK. Our guest this morning is Doug Fieger from the Knack, and Doug has a new album out with his band called Serious Fun, as we mentioned, and you got Don Was to produce this, didn't you?
Yes. Don and I have been friends since we were in the 5th grade. Actually, we've known each other since we were in the 5th grade. We've been really good friends since junior high school, so it was sort of a natural, and I've worked with him on the Was Not Was records for the past 10 years, so it was just a real natural thing.
What we have queued up is Won't Let Go, Aces and Eights. You want to tell us something about that before we let her fire?
Well, it's it's 2 songs that we strung together, and basically it's about hope, and it's about not giving up. It's about believing in your dream and holding on to it.
This is the Knack and Won't Let Go, Aces and Eights on 106.7 WJFK. You're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK. I'm Thomas Grooms, and our guest this morning is Doug Fieger from the Knack, and we're talking about the Knack's brand new release called Serious Fun. The first album, going back to Get the Knack, My Sharona. How did that tune originate?
Well, Burton had the lick, the guitar lick, sitting around for probably 2.5 years, and he would bring it up every once in a while to me and say, "Hey, let's write a song around this lick," and I would say, "That's a great lick, but I don't think we're ready for it yet." And then I met this girl named Sharona, and suddenly I thought of that lick. When I was thinking about the girl, I thought of that lick, and it just seemed to go together. And we wrote the song in probably about 15 minutes.
What did you think of Weird Al Yankovic's cover of My Bologna?
Oh, we loved it. Actually, Al sent me a tape of that. It was a thing that he recorded in his bathroom, I think. And I loved it so much I took it to Capitol Records and got him signed. So to this day, Al credits us with giving him his start in show business, which I always enjoy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Our guest this morning is Doug Fieger from the Knack. After the Knack broke up, what were you doing? How'd you keep busy?
Well, as I said, I worked with Was Not Was on their records. I wrote a song on their first album. I sang a couple on their second. Sang some on their last one. I wrote some Grammy Award-winning songs for the Manhattan Transfer. Basically, I kept busy doing those things, but also I was spending a lot of time recovering from the previous 5 years. So that kept me occupied.
Well, let's play Good Girls Don't and come back and talk some more, okay?
Cool. Hi, this is Doug Fieger of the Knack, and you're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK.
Are you planning on touring Washington anytime soon?
Probably in the summer, mid to late summer.
Opening up for any bands? Are you going to headline? What's the story?
Probably a large club, small hall tour, but we haven't ruled out really anything. The agency is just putting that stuff together. It's kind of out of my hands. You
just were involved with Bob Dylan somewhat. You have a story about Bob Dylan you'd like to share with us this morning?
Well, actually, it wasn't something that I was involved with. It was something that Don told me, that Don produced his last album, and I think Bob called him up a little while ago and said he wanted to work on some new things. And one of the things that he wanted to work on was an album of other people's material. And Don, so Don went over there and he was talking to him. He said, so what do you want to record? And Bob said, I want to do a version of Zippity Doo-Dah. And Don thought he was putting him on, because Bob has got a great sense of humor, and Bob said, "No, I'm really serious about it." And he said, "Here, show me how to play it." And so they sat, and Don is like showing him how to play Zippity Doo-Dah, and just thinking to himself, "This guy is putting me. I know he's putting me on," until he starts singing along with him, and he realized he was serious, and that it was a pretty cool idea, doing a sort of a roots version of Zippity Doo-Dah with Bob Dylan. But that Bob, he's a card.
Well, that's incredible. He's a pistol.
Yes. I mean, you wouldn't think so, but I think some of that does come through in his music. How funny he is. And I'm certainly a huge fan.
Well, speaking of Bob Dylan, what were some of your earlier musical influences that got you into music?
Well, actually, the earliest things were folk music, Woody Guthrie, the Weavers, Pete Seeger, but also I loved the pop music of the day and early rock and roll. Certainly, the first rock and roll thing that I loved was Little Richard and Elvis Presley and those. But I think I take the best of all the things that I enjoy. I like every kind of music. I like country music. I like classical music, jazz. I'm a huge Charlie Parker fan. But I would say that I think I've been influenced by just about everything I've heard. I hope so.
Well, most of the earlier Knack recordings, like Get the Knack and But the Little Girls Understand, was all basic raw rock and roll. I mean, it was a treat to listen to the Knack and not have to listen to disco music back then.
Right. Well, that's the kind of music I love to make. Is very simple, basic, straightforward rock and roll, and the Knack is a great vehicle for to be able to do that. We share, the four of us, share that, and yet bring our own influences and likes and dislikes to the music. Prescott is our bass player is particularly interested in classical music, and his bass style, I think, reflects that kind of rococo idea. And our new drummer Billy Ward is actually a jazz drummer, played with Bill Evans for years, so he brings that influence.
You're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK. Our guest this morning is Doug Fieger from the Knack, and Doug and his band have a brand new CD out called Serious Fun. Now, what is the lineup for 1991? Who's in the band? And tell us a little bit more about Serious Fun. Do you have a favorite tune on that particular CD?
Well, the lineup for the band is the same, except we have a new drummer. Like I said, his name is Billy Ward, and then, of course, there's Bert Navarre on lead guitar and Prescott Niles on bass, and I'm singing. As for a favorite track, I have a number of them. I love the song Serious Fun, the title track, and also the track One Day at a Time I feel very close to.
Well, let's listen to Serious Fun and come back and talk a little more.
Cool. Hi, this is Doug Fieger, the Knack, and you're listening to the Capitol Review on 106.7 WJFK.
Have you guys been playing any benefits or any concerts out there on the West Coast or anywhere?
No, we've done a couple of showcase dates for the record company, one in L.A. and one in New York, but we've been laying low since the record was released as far as playing. But we are a live band, and we do plan to get out on the road and show people what we can do again.
Well, we look forward to seeing you when you come through Washington. And when you do come through, I hope you'll stop by 106.7 WJFK and maybe play disc jockey.
Definitely, Tom. I'd love to.
Thank you for calling us this morning, and best of luck with Serious Fun, your new CD. And give our best to the band. And when you do get through town, stop by.
You got it. Talk to you later.